Good morning. I left our live yesterday and did nothing on this. We had a busy afternoon. So, don't worry, I'll work on it this weekend. Okay. Today we're gonna do the planter here and our shelves and then the potted plant here. And then Monday we'll do the books and the cat. That's the plan. Whoop. Hold on. I dropped my needle. I have been back and forth trying to decide what color to do this planter because originally it was going to be gray. But since I did this one gray, I don't want to do this one gray. I think I might do black and kind of pull in this. Because I'm going to do my shelves the dark brown. I can't decide. Yeah, I'm doing it black. Okay. Let's do black. I only have 2 strands there. All right. Let's do let's just keep it simple. Let's do a satin stitch. So I'm going to use 4 strands. I was trying to decide because we're going to do a chain stitch for the shelves. So I was thinking about doing a chain stitch for the planter, but I think not. I think let's keep it simpler. All right. So I'm using black, which is 310 for DMC, and I'm just gonna do a horizontal satin stitch because I want to. If you wanted to do a vertical satin stitch, you could. If you want to do another basket weave, you could. You could fill this with a stem stitch if you wanted to. Whatever you want to fill this space, I support you. I just think I want to keep it a little simpler. Oh man, I went over too far. That is really common for me. By the way, if you're doing satin stitch and you're like, dang it, I mess it up all the time, you are not alone. I think satin stitch is probably the stitch that I rip out the most often. I don't know what it is about it. I just rip it out all the time. Now, this doesn't really have to be perfect. We can finish the edge with just a straight stitch if it's looking a little bit funky. So try not to stress about that if yours is not looking quite how you want it to. All right, I think one more stitch. No, that's good. Okay, now if your edges are a little bit jagged, you could come back and just do a little tiny stitch right here. I don't think mine needs it, but I'll just show you. And just do a little stitch like that. Actually, yeah. I'm sorry, black is really, really, really hard to see on videos. Yeah, that was a good call. All right. There we go. All right, I'm gonna do the shelves next, and then we'll do some tiny flowers. So we're gonna do a chain stitch. Depending on what day you ask me, a chain stitch is one of my favorites. I love a chain stitch. I like how it looks, and I like the motion of a chain stitch. I like them a lot. So let's get out the dark brown. So I'm using 3031. I did not bring my iPad over here. I don't know what colors for the blue house. Hold on just a second. I would say whatever brown is different. Oh, you guys have blue houses though. Never mind. I was gonna say just whatever different, whatever brown you didn't use for your house. So you've got 3782 or 420. I would just pick whichever one you don't want to use for your books. I'd probably go with the 37. I don't know. I might go with the 420. I'm gonna let you choose. You could also do black, especially if you did this planter gray. You could use black. 2 color palettes is really hard for me. Sorry, you kind of have to make your own choices a little bit. All right, I'm gonna do chain stitch with 3 strands. Now I'll show you 2 different ways. So we'll do a regular chain stitch, and then on the next one, I'll show you a reverse chain stitch. I prefer a reverse chain stitch most of the time, but it's good to learn both ways because they're both useful for different things. All right, now we've done detached chain stitches, so it's gonna be similar to that with just some variation, of course. All right, so we're gonna come up at the end. I'm gonna go back down in that same hole. And then we're gonna go forward a stitch length. You can make these bigger or smaller, depending on how you feel at the time. And then we're gonna pull that so it's snug. Now, instead of tacking it down like we were doing with our detached chain stitches, hold on, this got pulled a little funny. So instead of tacking it down, we're gonna go back into that same hole that we just came up in on the inside of our loop. So we came up inside the loop, we're gonna go back down inside the loop as well. And we're gonna keep our second chain open. And again, we're gonna come up inside of it and finish that stitch. Whoops, that's a different length. Okay, so we're just gonna go, each loop is its own stitch. And we're just gonna go like that all the way across our shelf. So then if you ever pull one of these out, it comes out really easy because they're just connected they're connected like a chain. You need each one to keep the other one next to it going. So I really like a regular chain stitch if I'm stitching around other stitches. Like if we were doing a chain stitch like above this planter or something like that. Or if we were stitching like around like our planter box. I've seen people doing a chain stitch like for their hanging plant, which by the way, there's still a few details. Speaking of the hanging plant, There's some of these details we'll do on Monday as well. I will finish this over the weekend. So we'll do like the strings to hold this and then the cat and stuff like that. Anyways, but I've seen people using a chain stitch like for their hanging plant. That would be a time that you would use a regular chain stitch versus a reverse chain stitch. Okay, so a reverse chain stitch is, it looks the same, but you just do it backwards. So instead of starting at the end right here, we're gonna go forward a stitch length and we're gonna go backwards. So we're gonna go, oh, when I ended this, I don't think I talked through that, but when I ended this, I ended it like a detached chain stitch and I just went on the other side of the loop and tacked it down, just like we were doing like with our flowers. Okay, so a reverse chain stitch is we go the opposite way. So we're gonna go and make our end first and we're gonna tack down that chain. And then we're gonna go a stitch length away again. And we're gonna weave through this to create our chains. So they're still connected. We're just doing it the opposite way. And you'll just do that the rest of the way. I like reverse chain stitch for lettering or if there's not something else around it, because when I'm weaving, I don't really like when there's other stitches around that I can possibly snag. But it pretty much looks the same. I feel like I can get my reverse chain stitch looking a lot more even than a regular chain stitch. They're a little bit, I don't know, better quality stitches, I guess. But you just have to be careful that you're not snagging other threads around it. So I do the same thing. What stitch was I doing? I was telling you that I like push up from the back when I'm weaving. So hold on and I'll show you this last one. So when I'm weaving under, I'll push from the back right there to kind of help my needle be pushed up across other stitches. And then when we end it, you just put your needle down and you're done. Like that. This is not quite straight. But that's it. Super simple. Now, if you want these thinner shelves, you could do 2 strands or 1 strand. 1 strand would be really, really thin. But you could do 2. You could also just do a straight stitch or a couched stitch if you wanted. I just wanted to teach you another stitch. So, and this is a fun one. Okay, so I'm gonna let you decide how to do those, but you'll do those 3 and then those 3, and we'll put some books on them on Monday. So let me tie this off and then we'll do our flowers in our flower box. And it's just gonna be more of the same. We've already done all these stitches. We're just gonna do them some more. Okay, what green shall we use? We've used this one a lot. This one I don't want to use again. I'm gonna do the darkest green. So this is $8.95. The blue house. Your darkest green is $9.04 if you want to use that again. All right, I'm gonna stick with our 2-strand trend. Oops. Okay. And then I'm gonna do dark purple flowers. So I'm gonna use 550 for the purple, but you could use 29 or 552 with the blue house. I keep calling it a house, but you know what I mean. Bookshop. Okay. Now, if you want to draw these in, you can, or if you've already drawn them in, we're just gonna do a few, oh, you can't even see, sorry. We're just gonna do a few little flowers in here popping up. Okay. That was really hard to thread my needle. All right, so I'm just gonna go in and just do some straight stitches for the stems, and then I'm gonna fill it in with some detached chain stitches for some leaves, and just to kind of fill it in. So nothing fancy, just adding in some more color. All right, and we'll come back over here. I want this like pretty filled in, so I'm just like gonna do a whole bunch of these detached chain stitches, just kind of all over in different directions, some straight up, some angled right, some angled left. So my kids' school, at the end of every year, they do like they call it a mega celebration. And the whole school, like each class group puts on, like has like, is part of the celebration. So like the first and second graders did like a song and dance situation. They were like barnyard animals, and each class was a different animal, and they like did a song that pertained to their animal. And anyways, so my son's class were ducks. Oh my gosh, so cute. And then my daughter is in the 3-4 group, third and fourth graders, and they were talking about, like each class was talking about like different things. Her class was doing weather, and she was a cloud, and so they did like an interpretive dance kind of. While one kid like was reading about the clouds, like this type of cloud does this, and then like the kids would all dance, and oh my gosh, so cute. And then the 5th and 6th graders did a wax museum. So everyone dressed up and had like a poster about who they were and what contributions they made to the world and stuff like that. Super fun. And then my oldest is in the 7-8 group, and they have an hour every day that they get to work on. They call it their genius hour, and they get to learn about anything they want. I mean, they have to have it approved. But my son did a project on 3D building. 3D, yeah. Anyway, so they had like posters set up, and they got to talk to people about their projects that they've been working on all year. So anyways, it was super fun. Their school does a good job with things like that. And then they had like a big carnival. Okay, so flowers. I'm gonna use my purple. I'm gonna use 2 strands. This one is the 550. I'm just tired today now. It was a lot of a lot of running around to all the carnival booths, and they had food trucks and a bounce house and face painting and balloon animals, and anyways, good time. Just very busy. All right, tying a knot. Now you could do itty bitty lazy daisies. You could do little tiny French knots. I'm just gonna do like little star flowers. I don't know what they're really called. I call them star flowers. So just like tiny straight stitches. So just all back to the center. Just like cute little tiny flowers. Just be careful if you're stitching over that shelf that you're not pulling it too tight, because we don't want to pull it out of its straightish line. Anyways, May is our crazy month. All my boys' birthdays are in May, and end of school stuff. Next week we have birthday parties, and the kids have their testing, and anyways, so much going on. I feel like May is even busier than December. It's the month every year that I'm like, woof, no more things. Now, if you wanted to go back with like yellow or white, you could do like a little tiny French knot in the middle of these. I am not planning on doing that. But you could, if you want to add just like a little bit more color. You could also alternate colors and put in another purple. We only use that light purple down at the bottom. So you could come in and do like some of these as a darker purple and some as a lighter purple. I keep getting knots back here. Okay, so this weekend, work on finishing up all your plants and flowers. Keep all your thread scraps. We will use them to stitch some books on Monday. There. Almost done. I'm gonna work on my plans right now because I don't have to pick up my kids for a little bit still. So, all right, go ahead and work on that. I will post on my stories over the weekend just showing my progress. So if you want to do the same, feel free, and I will share with the group. Have a great weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday. Bye.